Welcome to Fiber Lady Yarns.
I would love to introduce to you someone very, very special. I'm so excited for this opportunity. I feel very blessed, and I'd love to introduce you to...
My name is David Harless, and my wife Michelle and I have started Fiber Lady Yarns that you see behind us.
Awesome.
Here in North Texas, Lewisville, Texas to be exact.
And how long have you been here?
In this building with the machinery since 2012. The business started in 2006, mainly out of the house, on online sales.
Okay, all right. So how did you guys even get into the yarn business?
She did some knitting, and then she went to one or two knitting shows, and really, we do bamboo mainly. And she mainly decided with a drop spindle and bamboo, and then a spinning wheel, spun her own yarn. That was her, and then it grew to this. And we wanted to do something different that nobody else does.
And what is that?
Mainly bamboo yarns, or bamboo blended, and it's a different dye, you know, so we use the fiber reactive dyes instead of the acid dyes. So it's a different dye process. And then we do cottons and hemp, and but mainly it's the bamboo. And it's been fun.
I love that. So there's something extra special about your shop that no other shop I've been to before has, and I would love you to explain what is that? What is it about your shop that is special and different than anyone else's?
Well, again, it's the yarn, number one. It's a totally different yarn, and we have to find different niches. So it's a really drapey, but that's number one. And as you can see, the dyes, they dye intense. There's no, so it's bright when you walk. As you can see, it's bright in this building.
Yes, it is. It's very,
right.
The yarn is gorgeous, but you also make your own yarn.
Correct. We met a really nice couple in Durant, Oklahoma, that owned a mill, and they would process all the yarn, and they started spinning our yarn. And the funny thing was, he had never worked with bamboo, and he almost gave up because it wasn't spinning right. Because all they would do is process wool and alpaca, and it turns out one day, basically the humidity was high, and when the humidity went up, all of a sudden it started spinning like a dream, and that was one of the niches of our yarn, or difficulties. And then after that, he figured out how to spin our yarns, our base yarns, and then they retired, and we bought just I call it machines 3 through 6. The drafter up to spinning and scanning. Okay. But we don't pick and card and clean. Okay, this is going to be test number 1. Let's see if can we make some pretty yarn or not. This is our drafting zone from here to here. If you were to see someone at a spinning wheel, this is basically one of their hands, and here's your other hand right here, and they're drafting it out. So we want to get our single. We're going to make a single thread, and we're going to get a leader that the fiber will twist to, and here's my traveler. We're going to go around our traveler, turn it on, we're spinning, and there's a single. It's hard to see, it's a dark color. But it looks like it's a pretty nice single. A little bit of, because of the wool has a little fluff to it. It's got a little fluffiness. Where if it was all bamboo, there would be like very little fluff. It would just be really fine and tight. So it's going to slowly fill up this bobbin.
Finished with this machine, and it takes the roving yarn and it turns it into a ply. And what does that look like on the spindle?
This is the last batch we did. It's easier to see this because these are green bobbins, and what we were testing was a green yarn. It's harder to see. This is I did a 4-pound batch of dyed bamboo with some white wool. So that's how it came out. So what are we going to do next? So this is a really fine single. So if I want to make your sport weight, or do I want to make a DK, this is the machine we do it on, where we're going to take, this is again dyed bamboo, 3 colors. You can see the blue and then two blues and a purple. But I'm going to barber pole it with a white bamboo, and we're going to make a fingering weight. So,
okay, so we just made the yarn from the previous machine.
Correct.
Where we had plies all come together and make one skein. We put that below here.
There's 3 of those.
That came from that machine we were just at. And now we are taking those and we are making a skein out of it.
There it is.
So cool.
So these are one of a kind. I'm probably only going to make these once. So if you're in the store when they're being made, you can get them now, or I'm going to guess the weight should be a sport or a heavy fingering weight, about 400 yards for 4 ounces, somewhere in that ballpark.
Cool.
We're just about there, Tiffany. All right, let's stop. I'm going to make a figure 8. It's hard to see with barber pole yarn though. And sometimes, since this is already dyed, I don't really have to worry about it being too tight for dyeing. If I was dyeing this, I have to make sure this is somewhat loose so that dye can get underneath the figure 8.
That makes sense.
But this is not getting dyed. This is going, we're going to put a pretty label on it, and we're going to put it out for sale, and someone's going to have to picture it and put it on the web at fiberlady.com. We're going to pull them off, and there you go. There's our skeins of yarn. Now there's a sample of what she knit with that yarn.
Can you tell us, how can all of us find you if we want to look at the gorgeous yarn that you've created, or even possibly buy some?
It's on fiberlady.com on the web. Of course, you can stop by the store here in Lewisville. And then I do have customers that like to occasionally FaceTime.
Oh.
They'll call and, from Virginia, and say, what do you have in DK yarn? And I'll pull up, I'll be on FaceTime, so I show them what I have in DK. And, that's always a thing you can do too. But mainly it's the Fiberlady yarns, or fiberlady.com.
Fabulous. Well, thank you so much, David. It was
Thank
a pleasure, and I feel so excited to be looking around at this handmade yarn that you made here in the shop.
Thank you.
It's an honor. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.